Hello YouTube viewers, it's Collector 513 with another collection video of my collection. This one is of my fighting games. I have a lot of fighting games to get through. I have over 200. I have a lot of fighting games, a lot. It's my favorite genre. Um, Street Fighter is my number one favorite fighting game of all time. It is one that I am trying to collect every single game, every single port. I'm trying to collect them all. Even the 3DO releases, I'm trying to Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. Yeah, I'm trying to collect every Street Fighter out there. So, if you know of any Street Fighter games that are CIB, complete in box with the booklet, the game, the box, the inserts, let me know below in the comments, please. Okay, this collection is starting in from the earliest consoles to the latest consoles in alphabetical order. I will tell you which ones I am doing as I go through them. I have a lot to get through. I have 200 something games to get through. I have a lot of fighting games. I have wrestling. I have boxing. I have ECW games included as well. UFC. Um, you may question. There are certain games that may not look like a fighting game or seem like a fighting game, but when you versus another player or you compete against another player, it becomes a fighting game. You versus the other person, one on one, So I included those games, and I will let you know that when I come across those, if they're fighting games or not. Okay, let's get started. Oh my goodness, I have a lot to get through. Let's get started. First, I do have gloves on, by the way, because I don't want to damage or fingerprint out my PS1 games. I clean them. I keep them very clean. And Dreamcast, I keep them very clean. First game, as I said, I'm starting from the Super Nintendo games. These are the first fighting games I've ever got on a Nintendo console. So these are all Nintendo, starting with Super NES. Shaq Fu. Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Super Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter Alpha 2. World Heroes. Clay Fighters 2 Judgment to Clay. Fatal Fury. Killer Instinct. I love the black cartridge. And I love the theme song to it. I swear, Killer Instinct has the best theme song ever made. Mortal Kombat 1. And last, for the Super Nintendo games, Primal Rage. Now, after the Super Nintendo was released, the N64 came out. So, I'm going to show my N64 fighting games. Killer Instinct Gold. Mace the Dark Age, Mortal Kombat 4, Ready to Rumble Boxing, Super Smash Bros., the original one, War Gods, WCW Backstage Assault. Now, this is the only game besides I have another one where the box comes with the box. WCW versus NWO World Tour. WWF No Mercy. And last N64 game, WWF Warzone. Okay, now we are starting the Nintendo GameCube games, fighting games. Starting with Bloody Roar, Primal Fury. Capcom vs. SNK 2 EO. Def Jam Vendetta. Knockout Kings 2003. Marvel Nemesis Rise of the Imperfects. I researched his game and it says that it is a fighting game. It is listed as a fighting game. Super Smash Bros. Melee. And last, WWE Day of Reckoning 2. Alright, now I'm gonna hit the Wii games. The Nintendo Wii games. Dragon Ball Revenge of King Piccolo. This game here, it's definitely, there we go. It's a fighting game when you versus someone else. Naruto Clash of the Ninja Revolution. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And the last Wii game, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Ultimate All-Stars. And now, time for the Wii U fighting games. Injustice, Gods Among Us. Pokken Tournament. Super Smash Bros. Wii U. And last Wii U game, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 Wii U Edition. Okay, now I'm going to show off my Nintendo handheld fighting games. Street Fighter Alpha for the Game Boy Color. That's the only Game Boy Color fighting game I have. Now these are the 3DS. Dead or Alive Dimensions. It's an amazing port. Amazing port. Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition. Lenticular case. But it isn't moving. And the last 3DS fighting game, Tekken 3D Prime Edition. And that is it for the Nintendo fighting games. That's all of them. Okay, it is time for my Sega fighting games. Starting from the Genesis, Sega CD, Sega Saturn, and Dreamcast. Here we go. Eternal Champions. Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 3. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Street Fighter 2 Champion or Special Champion Edition. Super Street Fighter 2. And the last Sega CD game, or Sega Genesis fighting game, WWF Super WrestleMania. Okay, I have one Sega CD fighting game, one. That is Mortal Kombat. This, in my opinion, is the best Mortal Kombat version of the original first game. Okay, time for my Sega Saturn fighting games. Battle Arena Shinden Remix. Fighters Make a Mix. Fighting Vipers. Marvel Superheroes. Mortal Kombat 2. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Night Warriors, Dark Stalkers Revenge. Street Fighter Alpha. Street Fighter Collection. Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter 2. Virtua Fighter Kids. Virtual On. And the last Sega Saturn fighting game, X-Men Children of the Atom. Okay. Ready for my Dreamcast fighting games. Dead or Alive 2. Heavy Metal Geomatrix. Marvel vs. Capcom. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Plasma Sword. Power Stone. Project Justice. This is the sequel to Rival Schools. No one knew that. Soul Calibur. This is the second game to Soul Blade on PlayStation. Street Fighter Alpha 3. Street Fighter 3 Double Impact. It comes with these two Street Fighters. New Generation and Second Impact. And last Sega Dreamcast fighting game and the last Sega fighting game is Techromancer. Because Dreamcast was the last Sega console before they went out of business. So there's all my Sega and Nintendo fighting games. We are now moving on to Xbox. Xbox Original and Xbox 360. Dead or Alive Ultimate. Comes with 1 and 2. Dead or Alive 3. Def Jam Fight for NY. Kabuki Warriors. Guilty Gear X2. Reload. SVC Chaos, SNK vs. Capcom. Soul Calibur 2. Teofing, Fist of the Lotus. And this is the only Kinect fighting game I have. Fighters Uncaged. This will remind you of Fight Club. Dead or Alive 4. These are my Xbox 360 fighting games. Def Jam Icon. Comparative Vendetta. And Fight for NY. I wasn't a fan of this. This is the only greatest hits game I have. Fight Night Round 3. As I said, I included boxing, wrestling, and ECW. Rumble Roses Double X. This is a sequel to Rumble Roses for the PS2. Samurai Showdown Sin. And last, Xbox 360 fighting game, Street Fighter 4. Okay, I will share my one and only PC fighting game. Only PC fighting game I have. Mortal Kombat 2. As you can see, it's for the DOS CD-ROM. Mortal Kombat 2. Okay, now, last but not least, I will share my Sony PlayStation fighting games from PS1 to PS2 to PS3 to PS4 to PS5 to PS Vita to PSP. I have fighting games on all those consoles. So these are in alphabetical order from PS1 to PS5 to the handhelds, starting with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Battle Arena to Shinden. Battle Arena Edition 2. Biofreaks. Bloody Roar 2. Bushido Blade. Bushido Blade 2. Capcom vs. SNK Pro. Cardinal Sin. Darkstalkers. The Night Warriors. Darkstalkers 3. The second one came out on the Sega Saturn as Night Warriors. Dead or Alive. Where it all began. I wasn't a fan of this too much. Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22. Dynasty Warriors. The very first one. For those, this was a fighting game. The very first Dynasty Warriors was a fighting game. Hardcore ECW Revolution. How do you say that? ECW Hardcore Revolution. Oh man, one of my favorite fighting games of all time. Evil Zone. Very underrated, very forgotten. But it's an amazing fighting game. It's so amazing. Oh my lord. I don't know what just happened with this. HBO boxing. Okay, wow. Knockout Kings. X-Men vs. Street Fighter. The reason it's with the M's is because it says Marvel Comics as X-Men vs. Street Fighter. So that's why I have it with the M's. And I have Marvel Superheroes. This is also, never mind. Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat 3. Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Pocket Fighter. Ready to Rumble Boxing. Rival Schools. Soul Blade. Star Gladiator. They have the sequel, Plasma Sword, on the Sega Dreamcast. They're named two completely different things. Just like the Rival School game. Star Wars, Masters of Teräs Käsi. Street Fighter Alpha 2. Street Fighter Alpha 3. Street Fighter Collection. I want to collect all of the Capcom fighting games on the PlayStation. I'm missing about 5 of them, I think. Street Fighter Collection 2. I want to collect them all. That way I can have every Capcom fighting game for PS1. Street Fighter EX Alpha. Street Fighter EX Plus Alpha. This is considered a fighting game. Street Fighter Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. That is considered a fighting game. Tekken 1. Tekken 2. My favorite Tekken. I love Tekken 2. Just captures so much magic. Loved it. Tekken 3. The King of Fighters 95. The King of Fighters 99. Turbo number 1. WCW Nitro. This is a sequel to that. WCW NWO Thunder. WWF SmackDown. Very first one. WWF SmackDown 2 Know Your Role. WWF Arcade Game. WWF Warzone. X-Men Mutant Academy. And last PlayStation fighting game, X-Men Mutant Academy 2. Okay, now we'll show my PS2 fighting games. Starting with Backyard Wrestling. Don't try this at home. I don't think you have to worry about that. No one is going to try those things at home. Backyard Wrestling 2. There Goes the Neighborhood. Black and Bruise. Bloody Roar 4. Capcom Fighting Evolution. Capcom vs. SNK 2 Mark of the Millennium. DOA 2 Hardcore. Def Jam Vendetta. Def Jam 500Y. Dragon Ball Budokai, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Fight Club. Fight Night 2004. Knockout Kings 2001. Knockout Kings 2002. Legends of Wrestling. Legends of Wrestling 2. Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Mortal Kombat Deception. Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Neo Geo Battle Coliseum. Onimusha Blade Warriors. And for those wondering, this is a fighting game. Rumble Roses. Soul Calibur 2. Soul Calibur 3. The King of Fighters Maximum Impact. This is a really cool case. The King of Fighters 2006. The King of Fighters 11. The King of Fighters 2002 and 2003. The King of Fighters 2000 and 2001. Tekken 5. Tekken 4. Tekken Tag Tournament. Super Dragon Ball Z. Street Fighter EX3. Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. And this is what it has on it. Street Fighter Alpha Anthology. And this is what it has on it. Street Fighter Alpha, Alpha 2 Gold, Alpha 3, Alpha 2 Gold. Sorry, Alpha 2 Gold, and Pocket Fighter. Well, it's Pocket Fighter, but they called it Gem Fighter on that for some reason. And UFC Sudden Impact. Virtua Fighter 4. Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution. WWF SmackDown Just Bring It. WWF SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. WWF SmackDown, or WWE SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. WWE SmackDown versus Raw. WWE SmackDown versus Raw 2006. And last, PlayStation 2 game, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Last PS2 game. Now we are moving on to PS3. Dead or Alive 5. Def Jam Icon. The Dragon Ball Battle Z. When you versus someone in this game, it is fighting. It is a fighting game. 100%. Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit. Same with this. It's considered a fighting game as well. Dragon Ball Z Raging Blast. Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2. Dragon Ball Ultimate Tenkaichi. This too is a fighting game when you versus someone. See if they got pictures of it on the back. No, they do not. Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This is when that series started going downhill. Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale. This is Super Smash Bros. For the PlayStation. Soul Calibur 4. Thought it was really cool. They had Darth Vader in there. Soul Calibur 5. I was very disappointed with this because they removed Taki out of this, and I am a Taki user. I love Taki. Street Fighter 4. Super Street Fighter 4. Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. Ultra Street Fighter 4. Tekken 6. The very first platinum trophy I've ever received in my entire life. Tekken Hybrid. This is what comes with Tekken Hybrid. For those wanting to know. Tekken Tag 2. Street Fighter X Tekken. The King of Fighters 12. Wait a minute, yep. King of Fighters 12. They have so many of those out. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Virtua Fighter 5. WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 featuring ECW. The WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 featuring ECW again. WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 featuring ECW. WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. WWE 12. WWE 13. WWE 2K14. And last PS3 game, WWE 2K15. Last PS3 game. Alright, on the PS4. Alphabetical order. Dead or Alive 5. The last round. Dead or Alive 6. Steelbook. As you can see. DOA 6. Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Dragon Ball Xenoverse. This is a funny game as well. I did research. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. My favorite Dragon Ball game of all time. Injustice Ultimate Edition. Super hard platinum. And this platinum here was blood base. Injustice 2. I need the Legendary Edition. Jump Force. Mortal Kombat 10. Mortal Kombat 11. Soul Calibur 6. Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. 30th Anniversary Collection. And these are all the games they have on this collector's Anniversary Collection. This is all the Street Fighters. This is my favorite Street Fighter of all time. Oh my god, I go back and play that thing all the time. Tekken 7. That is the last PS4 fighting game. Now, let's move on to PS5. Mortal Kombat 1. I enjoyed that so much. People don't like it, but I do. Street Fighter 6. I have not played this yet. And last but not least, Tekken 8. I almost have all of the Tekkens I don't have Tekken Advance. That's the only one I'm missing. Alright, let's finish up PlayStation fighting games by doing the handhelds. The Vita and the PSP. I only have one fighting game for the Vita, and that's the Mortal Kombat. Okay, last of the fighting games in my fighting game video for the PSP. Darkstalkers Chronicle. Soul Calibur Broken Destiny. Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max. And last but not least of this entire video, Tekken Dark Resurrection. And these games all hold up really well on the PSP. They look really good on PSP. PSP is an amazing handheld. Alright guys, that's all for my fighting game collection. How about you let me know below what is your favorite fighting game of all time? Like I said, my favorite franchise is Street Fighter. My favorite fighting game, if I had to keep one fighting game out of every fighting game I own, it definitely would be the 30th anniversary collection, because it has all of the Street Fighters on it from an 80s version to now. So yeah, I love those Street Fighters. I love that game. Anyways, leave me a like, subscribe. Thank you all for subscribing. I've got a lot of new subscribers. I appreciate you all very, very, very much. Thank you all so much. I would definitely, my next video, what will it be of? You know what, I'll do, a Street Fighter collection. I'll show off all my Street Fighter stuff. I have a very big Street Fighter collection, so I will show that off. I'll do Resident Evil also, Mortal Kombat. I have a lot of games in all those franchises, so I would definitely do that. You all have a great, what time is it? You have a great Monday morning. Hopefully you have a great Monday. Collector 513 out.